So moving on to our big story of the day,
Yes.
I think the actual news broke on February 26th.
Yeah, they announced it with their earnings.
Hilton officially making the split, kind of following in the footsteps of Marriott, although Marriott took considerably longer to do it. So they're splitting into what three businesses, Vince?
Sure. So just to give you a little bit of background, no, it's fine. For I think it was like October of last year, the CEO, his name's Chris Nassetta. He had announced that Hilton was pursuing some strategic alternatives, looking into what options they potentially had.
My favorite two words in corporate America.
And specifically, they had requested a ruling from the IRS for its REIT spinoff, not long after October. And they actually did it. The timing worked out very well for them, where they were able to get that ruling just before legislation went into effect, where basically Congress banned the further use of these tax-free REIT spinoffs, and it's really the tax-free ones that are so attractive and have been so attractive to companies. Some big high-profile ones that have happened recently, at the behest, often, by the way, of like activist investors, like MGM did their REIT spinoff, Darden Restaurants did. Some other companies have been pressured by shareholders to do so. Think McDonald's and Macy, but they chose not to. Now that avenue is closed.
It's always amazing to me. We won't get too much into the politics, obviously, here, but one, I didn't know that was the case. I didn't know that Congress closed that loophole as part of the budget deal. I did. I was like, what? Do you think they're mad because multiple casino companies, I think, have done this, and I was just very, very surprised.
Well, I think overall, people like REITs for I think two core reasons being obviously they're taxed very little or not at all at the corporate entity level.
As long as they pay out 90%
of their taxable income. Their taxable income. And generally REITs have better multiples than their traditional parent companies. So you combine that, and Congress commented specifically that by no longer allowing these tax-free REIT spinoffs, they're going to be able to recoup like several $1 billion in tax revenue over the next several years, and I think that's a big driver of this.
Well, yeah, that was my other comment. It always amazes me how many corporate actions that involve billions of dollars and hundreds of thousands of workers are done because of the tax code. Because in the 80s, in the buyout boom, one of the rationales was, we can just load these companies up with debt because the debt expense is tax deductible. Yay! And it's funny to me. Anyway, so what are Hilton's exact plans? Because they haven't been super specific yet.
So getting back to your original point in terms of what the three entities are. So you have Hilton Worldwide now, and then there'll be two spinoffs. The first is the REIT, and the REIT's going to get about 70 owned and leased properties from Hilton Worldwide's portfolio, about half of its portfolio, actually. Those 70 properties include mostly upscale U.S. hotels, and it represents a total of about 35,000 rooms. And then in addition to that, they're also be splitting off their timeshare business. So the timeshare company takes about 50 properties in the U.S. and Europe, and it's also going to run with the current management team of that business.
That division's huge, by the way. It's way bigger than I thought it was. It's like, what, 12% of their top line or something?
12% of total revenue, exactly. So, that business is going to enjoy an exclusive agreement with Hilton so they can market and operate resorts under the Hilton Grand Vacations brand. And then Hilton itself is going to largely run as an operating company for its namesake hotels, and also some of the other ones, or the other brands within its portfolio. It's like DoubleTree, Waldorf Astoria, Conrad. And so, now, that one company, three new entities, they're hoping to complete the deal by year end. And there's not as many details as I would like to share with our listeners right now. They have basically, during the earnings call, everybody's asking the questions about this.
Right.
And they're answering as much as they can, but ultimately they're saying, like, listen, we have filings coming in the second quarter where it's going to be, much heavier in terms of the numbers and allow you to do your analysis.